and good afternoon or good evening, whatever time you happen to be joining us. Thank you for tuning in to another broadcast of COS Michigan News Live. This is a report from your Michigan grassroots team about all things Article 5, what our progress is here and across the nation. So to lead that off, I would like to bring in our state director, Sarah Santana. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Robin.
Tell us about what's going on. There's your proper introduction for COS Michigan.
There we go. All right. Now we're going to talk about Michigan news. I'm going to need my slides. There they are. Convention of States Michigan volunteers. We're in Lansing this week. We were there on Tuesday. It was cold. But that has not deterred us from trying to save the country. So there we were, looking awesome. Can I just say that the people who come out and volunteer on our team are amazing. We had people there that were in leadership, and we had people there that are just volunteers that they don't need to be there, but they chose to be there because they're trying to save the country. And that is always such an honor. So whole bunch of us showed up at the Capitol. We were handing out updates to legislators on Convention of States across the nation, as well as 34 Ready. And I'll let Robin tell you about that later on. We had some amazing conversations with legislators and with their legislative staff, their aides. It's really fun to see the interest start to grow, the recognition grow as we continue to go to the Capitol repeatedly. This really does make a big difference. And I had a really fun conversation, brief conversation with one staffer that was telling me that he is watching the docket for our legislation to be introduced, just waiting for it because they are very excited in that particular office. So that's always great to hear. But our voice can never make as much of a difference to your legislator as your voice because you vote for them. So don't let our being in Lansing stop you from reaching out to your legislator because you're the one that's actually going to make the difference here. And if you would like to officially join the team, we would love that. And we have some wonderful opportunities coming up. We're awesome folks. And we are going to be having some volunteer training classes. They're going to start in March. A couple of them will go into April, but they're just going to be covering some of our most needed positions. If you're interested in becoming a district captain, you want to learn more about that, go ahead and join this class. It's going to be 3 weeks, 3 times. There'll be some homework to go through, some video and some reading, but just a really great opportunity to learn about these various positions. We'll have a class for district captain, a class for a legislative liaison, as well as a class for people who are interested in writing, doing social media, and doing video material. And Robin will be in charge of that class. So with that, I'm going to shoot it over to Robin to talk about national news.
This national news scene is busy. Since we were last here 2 weeks ago, 3 additional states have added legislative activity. Idaho, and we've seen tons of pictures from Idaho, which is great. Iowa is now in the mix. Kentucky introduced the resolution on February 14th. That brings the total states currently active with legislative activity to 18. So I want to spend a little time on this map. Those green states that you see, those are our 19 past states. The blue states currently have active legislation activity. So you can see Michigan. It's not that we're not doing anything. We just haven't introduced it yet, and we are getting close. And then the yellow states, those are states who have passed the resolution in one chapter. I thought it might be worth to look at the math a little bit. We need 34 states to pass a resolution to hold the Convention of States. We have 19 states approved so far. That means we need 15 states to reach 34. We've got 18 states with legislative activity. The question is, who's going to be next? It's a busy time of year for everyone in the legislature. It's a new year, lots of activity going on. As Sarah mentioned to you, the team is going every month to the Capitol or meeting their legislators in their home district. So a lot going on. And I didn't even talk about the 14 states that have the 34 ready legislation. Do you want to talk about the 34 ready portion of this is?
Well, Robin just gave us the perfect segue because she just pointed out that we need 34 states to get an Article 5 convention. And that's where the name 34 Ready comes into play. 34 Ready legislation is legislation that gets states ready for all of the background stuff that you need in place to actually go to an Article 5 convention when those 34 states have called for one. So that includes stuff like, how are we going to select commissioners to represent us? How are they going to get instructed? What if one of them gets sick and can't continue to do their role? Who's going to take their place? And also things like criminal penalties. If there were to be any funny business that went on, we want to make sure we have those criminal penalties as a deterrent and also to deal with any situation. Not that I expect we would have that, as our legislature, I'm sure, would choose very good people to do this. We don't have a history of that, but it's good to have those things in place just so everybody knows how this is supposed to function and what the legalities are around it. So yeah, Robin, we have a ton of states in our country that have active legislation with regard to 34 Ready. And we have a whole bunch who have already passed legislation that already have it on the book. So there is this huge nationwide push to make sure that we are, as a nation, ready for this event to take place.
Thank you for that. We're all very excited about it, to watch this activity going on, as well as the momentum that we're building in Lansing with our visits, your calls, your texts, your emails to your legislators. You will help make this happen.